No matter where we live on the planet, we have one thread, one driving force in common, and that is love. Every nation, every culture, and every person is influenced by the power of their love lineage. So what is love lineage, you ask? Love lineage is an accumulation of the imprints that you discover by investigating the prior generations and role models in your family tree. Not just where they came from, but how they learned about love and relationships and their life experiences that often were hidden in the family history. So these imprints are passed down through the generations of families, and they have a huge impact on your love and relationships. So let's talk about it. Let's face it. Most of us were not guided by our parents about love, sex, marriage, and relationships. Wouldn't you agree? Right. So most young girls, especially in America, we were educated by fairy tales like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, The Little Mermaid. And we were also trained that our prince was going to come suddenly, sweep us off our feet, and we were going to live happily ever after. Well, unfortunately, many of the young men in the world haven't had official prince training. So we learn from our role models and our ancestors, and what we see, what we hear, and what we experience often gets stored in our minds. And if we have something that is heartbreaking, sometimes it causes us angsting about love and relationships. My story of my love lineage began on one bitterly cold night. I was a happy little girl, just 6 years old, and I came from a very large, loud, and loving 100% Italian family from the East Coast in the United States. We always had fun at our house, but this one night, I was up late playing with my Barbie and Ken dolls, and I heard the doorbell ring, and I wasn't supposed to be up, but I was curious. So I snuck down the stairs in the dark, and I hid next to the kitchen wall. And while I was there, I could hear my aunts talking. And then suddenly, one of them started hysterically crying, and she said, "What am I going to do? He's gone. My husband just left me for another woman. I don't know how I'm going to take care of these 4 kids all by myself. Oh my God, I don't have any money. I haven't gotten much of an education, and my skills aren't so hot, right?" So my grandmom, who lived downstairs, heard all this crying and screaming, and she thought, "I'm going to go see what's going on, see what the fuss is all about," right? And there I am, hidden, frozen on the stairs in shock. As she slowly climbed the kitchen stairs, I heard her shout in this really angry tone, and she said, "Men, they're all liars and cheaters, and you can't trust any of them." Oh my God. No one knew I was there listening to these disturbing details. My poor aunt, she was like really sad and scared. And I remember thinking, what is going to happen to her and all of my cousins? Oh my God. And I thought to myself, I'm never going to let this happen to me. I'm going to take care of myself. So for years, I kept hearing some of these same betrayal stories in our kitchen because I kept sneaking down the kitchen wall and no one knew, right? So these betrayals really made me think, I don't think I'm ever going to have kids because I don't want to have to take care of them all alone with no money either. I didn't want to have that story. So when these kind of things happen, it made me disbelieve in love, and it messed with my young little heart. So after that, I decided that I was going to become a young entrepreneur. I started with a lemonade stand. And then by the time I was 10, I was washing cars, I was helping my father prepare food, and babysitting and saving my money. By the time I was 16, I had bought my own car, and I was working for my cousin at her hair salon, and it was so much fun. I had amazing role models there. But I still had my doubts about men and marriage. And all day I was listening to these clients tell me all their problems and challenges with their marriages. And then I had my heart broken a couple of times. It was crazy. Now, over all those years, my 5 siblings all got married. And nobody ever knew what happened to me. And they wondered, why does she keep getting her heart broken? And why does she keep dating unavailable men? Well, none of them knew about the trauma that I had experienced and observed at a young age. Or that how those experiences actually led me into the career and the mission that I have right now. So shortly after all of this, my pain actually led me to my passion. And I moved to Southern California to go back to school and expand my work. Over the last 30 years, after teaching and guiding thousands and thousands of people to find true love, I am here to inspire all of you to examine your love lineage. So, what happens is we are constantly learning from our role models, right? We watch our grandparents, our parents, people in our social structure, how they interact. And we absorb all the conversations, and we think, oh my God, and their behaviors. And these are what I call love imprints. These are memories that get stored in your conscious and unconscious mind for a very, very long time. So when that happens, these love imprints start when you are in grade school, when you're a kid, and then they play out in high school and in college. And they follow you throughout your entire life, right? So when you're watching these people and getting these imprints, it really can mess with your future. So right now, we are seeing in the life of the hectic lifestyles of families right now, everybody's juggling everything, and the average amount of time that parents are spending with their children right now is only 37 minutes a day of, quote, quality time, maybe an hour. But most of the teens that I talk to, especially if they're involved in divorced families, they're single parent homes, they're watching their parents fight, get divorced, and they don't have any idea how, the parents have no idea how their kids are really learning about love. So with the disconnect from the younger generation and the older generations, there really needs to be a new way of handling it, right? So the hectic lifestyles of our parents is causing them not even to understand, what are your kids doing? How are they learning about love? Well, right now, with the social media being the hot thing, you got to realize the kids and teens, most of you are spending 6 to 9 hours a day on your phones and social media. And what parents don't realize is most of the skills from all the teens that I have mentored, they have told me in confidence that they don't learn from their parents. They learn from Instagram, social media, the internet, movies. That's where they're getting their influence about love and relationships. And the parents need to get real about where their kids are learning. So they also learn from their schoolmates, their social interactions at school with their friends, from good or bad dating experiences during high school, and the cliques at school, the cool people that they look up to, and they think, oh God, I can't be like that. So what can we do about this disconnection? I am here to inspire all of you, anyone, to become your own love investigator. And what does that mean? That means to go back into the family history. You go back and you ask your older relatives, your parents, your cousins, your aunts, uncles, and people that are closest to you about the ancestry and the sort of the imprints that were passed along, right? And what we need to do right now is I'm going to take you on this little journey to ask you, when you start thinking about yourself, right now, I'd like everybody just to take a moment and close your eyes and think about an imprint from some of the conversation I've had with you so far. Just close your eyes and take a deep breath. Who was the first person when I started talking that came into your mind that might have given you an imprint in the past? How old were you? Where were you? What did you see, hear, or experience in that moment? Now that you have this person in your mind, this is a good place to start. This is where that first imprint originated. So when you go back to the person that gave you the original source of the imprint, then you can have conversations that can clear up some of the fear that you might have had about a memory and stored in that little boy or little girl in all of us, right? So then you meet up, you're meeting with your family, then you meet up with your siblings. And when I did this with my siblings, we started telling each other stories that none of us even knew. It was fascinating, right? And once you do this love investigation, it takes you down a path where you're healing from it. So when I went back and asked my grandmother and my aunts about their history, it was the key that opened my heart to finally find true love, and for thousands and thousands of people that I've worked with. So today I'm inviting you to become your own love investigator, because what happens is families, especially Italian families and really passionate families, they hold on to resentments for years. They have these old stories and they tell each other behind their back, and then all of a sudden they have a party. But what does it normally take? For somebody to get sick, somebody to be in the hospital, or somebody to die before they tell these secrets that have been carried. My grandmother carried them down and down and down, right? So it's important for us to communicate about these, clear up these old resentments and issues so that you can free your heart from whatever your imprints are. It affects your work, your love life, and when you do it, it is amazing. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to have a meaningful love investigation. And I tell you, it's fun. First, you have to set up a private space to meet where there's no other distractions. And I'm talking turn off your phones. Prepare insightful, open-ended questions to ask the people that you keep thinking about, old friends, family members, and remove every distraction and be really fully present in the moment. And more importantly, speak from the heart. And I can guarantee you when you do this, your life will be freed up. So, in closing, I'm just going to say it's your destiny to take control of your heart by learning about the people from the past that came before us, that never had the technology that we have. When you do this, I promise you, you will take your power back. You're going to be able to give and receive deeper love and design an extraordinary life. And more importantly, you will become the positive influence in your family, and you could change the love lineage of many generations to come. Enjoy your journey. Thank you.